about it.
In a few minutes, Londoner Jimmy McDonnell will try and tame the African lion, Azumah Nelson, a modern great. And if he does it, it'll be one of the biggest upsets in British boxing history. Good evening to you. Yes, Jimmy McDonnell is a very big outsider here tonight. In fact, scanning through the weekend's newspapers, none of the boxing writers give the 29-year-old challenger any chance. All of them say Azumah Nelson will finish this fight whenever he wants. My own gut feeling is that Jim McDonnell will give Nelson a much harder night here than he's bargained for. McDonnell is in superb shape. He's shut himself away from all distractions, hasn't read, listened to or seen any of the pre-fight ballyhoo. He's well used to being the underdog. It was the same in Manchester in May. He sent another legend back into retirement.
Going to have another look at that, Mickey Van, and I don't fancy this at all. It's all over in the fourth round.
And now McDonnell's got to do it all over again. His task tonight is awesome. Ghanaian Azumah Nelson has no apparent weaknesses. This will be his 13th world title fight. When Pat Cowdell, clever and respected, challenged in '85, he was annihilated.
He's a real pressure fighter, Nelson. I can see already what he has in his mind.
Oh! Well, it's 15 years since Pat Cowdell was hit on the chin and stopped. And in the opening round, he's being counted out by the Mexican referee. What a puncher this fellow Nelson. I don't have to emphasise that.
Azumah Nelson's always been recognised as one of the modern greats of boxing, and it's always been my ambition to match my ability, my brains, against someone of Azumah Nelson's calibre. And, you know, I'm looking forward to going out there and just getting it on with him. I'm buzzing about it. I'm really excited about the prospect because, like, I know in my heart that I'm good enough, but it's not until you've actually been there and competed with these people that you can turn around and say, I told you so.
He really is a superb fella, Jimmy McDonnell, everyone's favourite boy next door, really. He's paid his dues in this fight game. He's fought once for the world title before against Brian Mitchell, the South African, for the WBA title, and lost decisively. But he said that experience gave him the feeling one day he was going to be world champion. We're all getting ready for Jimmy McDonnell to come into the Albert Hall. It's hot, it's very exciting here, a really good crowd getting ready to really lift the rank outsider, Jim McDonnell. Somewhere down there, the former Camden Town caretaker is coming out, and there he is. Darby Smith leading him out, so quiet and so composed, McDonnell. His attitude is first class. Barry Hearn behind him, who feels he's got a world champion on his hands here. And that is a terrific reception for Jimmy McDonnell, who says, I'm going to prove everyone, the experts and the bookies, are totally wrong. He's got himself in superb shape. He's single-minded. The challenger, Jimmy McDonnell. A marvellous reception for McDonnell, and you really get a marvellous big fight atmosphere of this splendid Albert Hall arena, just about full. And now we wait for the great Ghanaian Azumah Nelson, the champion, an all-time great Azumah Nelson, 10 years a pro, just one defeat. And a really complete fighter. A big fight night, and really no big fight night here on ITV is complete with our boxing commentator Reggie Guttridge, and I'm delighted to welcome Reggie back to ringside, fully fit, and raring to go, and looking forward to describing the action for you. Jim Wallaby alongside him in a moment. Reggie, it's all yours.
Well, thank you very much, Jim. And I must say, this nugget of a man, Azumah Nelson, I've seen many times now in America, and watched his fight from Ghana, and he really is, you say, a complete boxer. But if confidence means anything, and certainly the support of the crowd, well, Jim McDonnell's really got everything going for him. He's a sinewy character, this, much harder than he looks, and he has never been on the deck, which, you know, is a pretty good credential in the pro game, I'll tell you that. Nobody thought he could beat Barry McGuigan, and he did. A little worrying that he came in at just a mere quarter of a pound overweight, and had to get that off, but apparently the trainer said he fancied a cup of tea, and we let him have it, and it turned out to be a mistake. Good, solid, thick neck, actually, McDonnell, if you look at that. Able to cushion punches well, and he'll certainly have to do that. Only lost one fight in his career, Nelson, when he was a substitute against the great Salvatore Sanchez at Madison Square Garden. And I believe Nicky Duff was in his corner that night, and it was 11 seconds to go in the 15th round when he was stopped. So we're getting the drums, the Ghanaian drums, and the Sagut Mugu, I can hardly say it, sounded band, led by Mr. Lord Eric. Well, that's the first time he'll get any kind of billing at the Royal Albert Hall.
My lords, ladies and gentlemen, promoted by Maxfield and sponsored by Storm Seal, live on ITV, we are proud to present the main attraction of the evening, a super featherweight contest at 9 stone 4 pounds over 12 rounds, each of 3 minutes duration, for the WBC Super Featherweight Championship of the World. The judges for the contest this evening are Tom Kazmarek of New Jersey, Tony Castellano of New York, and Franz Marti of Switzerland. Your WBC supervisor is Henri Paquet of Switzerland. Your referee for the contest, ladies and gentlemen, is Joe Cortez of New Jersey, and your timekeeper, Danny Peacock of Morden. Presenting and introducing to you in the blue corner, with the dark shorts, with 26 wins from 27 contests, 12 inside the distance, the challenger for the title from Camden in London, London Town Zone, Jim McDonnell. And his opponent in the red corner, with the leopard skin shorts, with 30 wins from 31 contests, 22 inside the distance, defended his title from Ghana, the WBC Super Featherweight Champion of the World, Azumah Nelson! Ladies and gentlemen, at the weigh-in at 11 o'clock today at Drury Lane, Jim McDonnell scaled 9 stone 3 3/4 pounds, that is 129 3/4 pounds. Azumah Nelson scaled 9 stone 4 pounds, 130 pounds exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you.
Well, the referee Joe Cortez there from New Jersey, who, well, a bit of luck in a way for McDonnell. He's the man who handled Lloyd Hunting regaining his championship against Jose Vaca. Also Tyson and Holmes. The referee had to usher a whole horde of people out of Nelson's corner. Everybody that got in there, including the American promoter Don King. So there you go now. It's a third round prediction by Nelson. Let's hope that he's more a gifted publicist than pugilist. But he certainly is an intimidating man. McDonnell tucking his elbows to his side like that, protecting the body, keeping the gloves high. And he'll need to do that now. And a very large ring, the largest I've seen actually. 20 feet, that's 24 feet to the end of the open. Well, he's come out firing from the start. He's hoping to bring off another Pat Cowdell sensation by the look of it, which only went to 2 minutes 24. Certainly McDonnell could match wits with Nelson. It's a question of whether he can compete with the firepower. Low punch. And acknowledged all-rounder. Jim, in his last fight, Nelson hung about a bit with Mario Martinez. But he's really getting down to it here, isn't he?
Yeah, well, he had already faced Martinez. Maybe he feels a new opponent tonight that has to intimidate McDonnell, and that's exactly what he's trying to do. McDonnell boxing very sensibly. He's an excellent defensive boxer, but thankfully he's coming back with good punches of his own, just to give Nelson something to think about. But McDonnell must be very, very careful, especially in the first couple of rounds.
With Nelson, you don't look for one particular punch. I mean, that left-hand uppercut, which sort of was a part hook that nailed Cowdell, was a bit special. I suppose that would be his favourite punch, but he also bangs with the right hand.
McDonnell's doing a little bit of leading off in the first round, and I think that's a little bit dangerous. I would much sooner see him counter-punch, let Azumah Nelson make his move, make good use of his feet, and come back with counters. Don't bother leading off in the first round.
There's all the guts in the world, McDonnell. I've watched him since his amateur days with some punches. You won't find him wanting in that department.
See, there's always the chance that Nelson has underestimated McDonnell. So McDonnell must have plenty of strength left for the second half of the fight.
And there was a good left hook there as the bell rang too, and McDonnell looked at him to say, well, I don't need another one like that, and particularly right on the bell like that. Well, as I said, only one defeat and 31 years old, and he feels that he's been sidestepped a little bit. He was trying to fight Barry McGregor, of course, for years it seemed that way, and he really is one of the great fighters because he's won world championships at 2 weights. And here's the rundown then of Jim McDonnell, and the only one was in another world title fight against Brian Mitchell, the South African, when he was outpointed over 12 rounds. But quite rightly, he said, I've learned a lot from that. Second round. Got a bit excited there, Jim Nelson, didn't he? Missed with quite a lot of punches.
Yeah,
like that.
Well, this is exactly what McDonnell must do for the first couple of rounds. Keep out of harm's way. Try to make Nelson use up as much steam as possible, because there is always the chance that Nelson has really underestimated McDonnell and is looking for a 3 or 4 round fight. If McDonnell gets by the halfway stage, who knows what kind of shape that Azumah Nelson will be in.
He's countering well, actually, McDonnell, as Nelson comes in. Digging that left hook to the body like that from McDonnell. I suppose he's hoping to tire the old boy out.
See, the trouble is Azumah Nelson is a good defensive fighter too, and he's taking most of those on his elbow. plan just seems to be to stop McDonnell and look for the one big bomb. He's not really putting any rhythm into his work. He's just stalking and looking for the one big shot.
Yeah, McDonnell's winning this round, isn't he?
Yes.
The referee not saying break, they're not actually holding. He will now. They want him to slide inside like that. Well, win, lose or draw, this is the best I've seen McDonnell do.
Well, people have tended to forget that Jim McDonnell is a world-class fighter. If he was in against an average world champion, you would give him an even money chance. It's just the fact that Azumah Nelson is an exceptionally good champion. But McDonnell, we must remember, is world class.
Won the European Championship, of course, defended it and then vacated it. Never actually competed for the British Championship. Well, I can imagine he'll breathe easier now. On the outside of the ring, you might spot Charlie Magri. There he is, former world flyweight champion, and now going into with the matchroom team as a trainer. Jim, replay.
See, here we see that as well as being a good offensive fighter, Azumah Nelson also has a very tight defence. McDonnell was throwing some good body shots throughout the round. A little bit dangerous with his head there, but try a little bit of everything, I think. But a good round for McDonnell. Stood his ground, landed good punches.
So a friendly pat on the cheek from Darky Smith, the matchmaker for the matchroom boxing team. And we're into round 3 of this World Boxing Council version of the World Super Featherweight Championship. 9 stone 4. That's between featherweight and lightweight. Old-time scribes Jim used to call milling on the retreat with McDonnell. He just backs off and then lets punches go. He's not running.
Yeah, but he's letting plenty of punches go. He certainly outworked Nelson in the previous round. And Nelson tending to pose a bit. He just seems to be trying to intimidate McDonnell, stalking him, not letting too many punches go. He's just cupping his hands up in front of his face and just stalking McDonnell, looking for the opening for the one big shot.
There's a question of stalking there, isn't it? For the hunter's patience he needed there. He's really made up his mind, McDonnell, to bang away at the body like that, around the ribs.
The only problem with McDonnell's work, he's throwing good punches, but most of them are being blocked or smothered. He's not really landing in target. The work he's putting out is not really having any effect on Nelson, although probably he'll win the rounds just because he's the busier of the two. But he's going to have to be in good shape if he's going to maintain this pace.
Well, I think he probably is, Jim. He's an athletic type fellow, teetotaler, non-smoker, and a former useful footballer. Played for the Watford South-Eastern Counties team for some time. And I think his mate Ray Houghton and other boys here, he played with him as a youngster.
And that's the first silly thing McDonnell has done. That is the first silly mistake he's made of the fight, and he's put himself in trouble. He's bending down, waving his face in front of Nelson then, and he's very fortunate to get away with that.
And didn't the crowd rise to that as well? He got tagged with that left hook as he fell in there.
McDonnell has become very careless just in the last half minute there. That's two silly things he's done. He's got away with both of them. He can't afford to do this. Here it goes again.
saying, okay, if you want some of that war, I'll have it with you, and that's no good to him. He can't stand there battling it. What a good gutsy guy he is, though, because he absorbed some good punches there. Well, as you say, he had a good look round, didn't he, Azumah Nelson, for a while there, and then decided he ought to do something about it. Remember, you know, not just the amount of fights he's had, his amateur experience. He won the Commonwealth Games gold. Jim, have a look at the replay now.
That's the silly mistakes. Bending down in front of Nelson. You know this man can take you out with one hit. It was a very foolish thing he did. He come firing back. We know McDonnell has plenty of courage. He doesn't have to prove that tonight. He wants to get back to his boxing. A little bit dangerous again with his head then, but again, very reckless.
American referee there, Joe Cortez, is handling it well. He's letting them get on with the fight quite a bit. So now, fourth round. Now, what's McDonnell's tactics going to be? This is probably saying, I'll use the ring a bit. As I say, it's been specially made for him, much bigger than the normal Albert Hall ring.
So there were a few signs in the last minute of the third round that the pressure was beginning to get to McDonnell. He lost his composure, did a few silly things, but he has to get that composure back. The problem, I said earlier, he's thrown a lot of good punches, but not really making any impression whatsoever on Azumah Nelson.
See, I don't blame him doing this hit and hop it bit at the moment, Jim. He's got to pull himself together. That was a rough round he had there.
Yeah, but McDonnell can't trade with Nelson. He doesn't have the power. He doesn't have the chin Nelson has. It'll take special tools to knock Azumah Nelson out of there, and I don't think McDonnell has those tools. He's an excellent defensive boxer. He must use what he has and not be drawn into a brawl. This must be demoralising, throwing good punches, and the man just keeps walking towards you, fresh as he was at the first bell, and still with so much power.
I think Nelson tried to show off a bit in the third because he predicted a third round win.
It looks as though Nelson's just forcing McDonnell to do all the work, knowing that 12 rounds is such a long time, and eventually he's going to get to McDonnell. He doesn't seem worried about the point scoring. It's just to keep the challenger working as hard as possible and then move in for the kill.
It really is a tough world championship fight this year. Notice that neither of them back off when they stand there trading those punches. More so Nelson, he just sort of flat-foot, he gets a lot of leverage into his blows like that. So when he throws punches to the body, he's got to worry about leaving the chin open.
It must really be so demoralising when you're throwing good punches and the man just keeps walking forward, just treating them as though they don't exist.
Almost doing his road work now, Nelson. So there comes the fifth round then. And maybe Azumah Nelson a little bit surprised by McDonnell's toughness. I did say when he came into the ring, he's deceptive in that area. He doesn't appear to have any occupational fear. And all the things that McDonnell said before the contest, I think he really meant that he'd love to match wits and punch in power with Nelson. He thinks he's better in better class.
Nelson looks to be raising the pace in this round. He hasn't altered his tactics from the first round, so he must feel they're sound tactics. But now he's raised the pace a little bit. These are real punches Nelson's throwing now.
closes his... Oh, that left hook again. That's the one that nailed Caldwell. That's the first time that Jim McDonnell in his career has ever been on the deck. 7, 8, 9. Cortez having a good look at him. In the 5th round now. He's got a long way to go in this round. Such a potent puncher, Azumah Nelson. He really is. What a gutsy guy trying to fight back McDonnell. He'll do well to try and take the play away now from the world champion.
This is what he wants to do, smother Nelson just until he gets his wits back. He hasn't recovered from that shot yet.
And it looks as though it hurt Nelson there. Certainly the crowd thinks so. Oh, doesn't need those. They're tiring, missing with punches. Well, he's the best have-a-go 6-to-1 shot you can see, isn't he?
Yeah, the courage we can't expect from McDonnell. That was a terrific shot. That would have finished quite a few super featherweights, but here he's back trading with a man.
And he's still standing there and trading with Nelson. Whoop. That was a strange thing. He walked in head first and spun Nelson around, wasn't it? He threw himself at him.
Nelson's becoming a little bit erratic here, which is not like him. He's usually so well controlled. So full credit to McDonnell for the resistance he's putting up here.
Well, he really did a feat to get over that round, I tell you that. Because he was out all by the shouting there, wasn't he? But he made it all right. So the cornermen now have really got to work hard on this lad. But the way he fought back was most impressive, I have to say. On the other hand, Nelson, I'm sure, is saying, well, if I can catch him with that left hook once more, I'm sure he won't get up, but we'll find out. Jim?
Well, a tremendous left hook it was. A real taster for McDonnell's chin there. Here it comes, bang on the chin. Over he went. It looked as though there was no way he was going to recover from that, but as we know, recovered and recovered well.
See, that was an example of him throwing his own punch, left hook to the body, but leaving his chin really exposed like that, and he got tagged. Round 6 of this World Super Featherweight Championship from the Royal Albert Hall. So can the big underdog, Jim McDonnell, pull himself together now after that knockdown and get back in the fight?
I just wonder how much fire that round has taken out of Nelson. But he's back to his original tactics again, just stalking, looking for the big shot.
Yeah, it's the old Joe Louis thing, isn't it? You can run, but you can't hide. The way he's trying to track McDonnell. And in fact, he hasn't been running in that sense. He's actually been firing very well off the back foot like that. But there's no way he can push Nelson back. He fights with a little bit of arrogance, really, as well, doesn't he, Nelson? You get the feeling that he could box a lot better if he wanted to.
Yeah, well, where he's so smart, he's had a minute's rest, and now he comes out, and for the first minute of this round, he takes another rest. He forces McDonnell to work, puts him under pressure, but doesn't really do any work himself. Quite possibly the plan is to start going to work in the last minute and a half of the round. But he's a little bit negative here, although he's stalking and keeping McDonnell working.
go in the 6th. Oh, that was only a short punch, Jim. It's just as well that left hook there on McDonnell's chin. You see, he just hangs in there too long. He doesn't recover, does he? He just stays static for a second like that.
I don't think Nelson realised McDonnell was so slippery. It looks to me as though he plans to do his best work in the last minute of every round.
Round 7. And most of the tipsters thought they should end between the 2nd and maybe the 5th round. The 3rd and 4th was the ones that were generally picked, so McDonnell, I should say, has fooled them. Here we go chance. The crowd have been marvellous in support of McDonnell. Actually, there's quite a large supporters from the Ghanaian, apart from his little band, embassy people and all kinds of supporters have turned up.
Nelson is not cutting the ring off on McDonnell the way I expected he should have done. He's followed all the way around all night long, but he hasn't moved across him and boxed him into corners. But he's still looking for those powerful shots now.
How's that for a line of defence? The crisscross arms there. See, and there it is again. I mean, if you throw punches, Jim, you're liable to break your hand on his elbows. But as you said, last minute of the round, he throws himself at the opponent here, Nelson.
He seems to use the first minute and a half to 2 minutes to try and get some of the steam out of McDonnell's legs, then go to work in the last round. But you have to ask yourself, is he doing enough work in the last minute of every round to turn back what McDonnell's done in the first couple of minutes?
But that's the problem. If he does stand his ground, McDonnell, he tends to get tagged a bit. He certainly did it early on. He showed no fear at all. So there's McDonnell's wife, Kim, there, keeping very straight-faced about it all, and alongside there somewhere is Barry Hearn, and she's trying to smile. It must be going through, well, let's face it, going through hell. Because winning the World Championship, well, they think they've more than won the pool's end, don't they? And the replay, Jim, there's the old crisscross defence that I was talking to you about. There it is again.
Yeah, well, McDonnell was forced to take some good shots again in the last minute of that round, but still throwing plenty of punches of his own. Although it's been a rear guard action all the way through, McDonnell has done a lot of good work and come back with a lot of good punches.
So we're out for the 8th round then. And if you have joined us late, it's Azumah Nelson, the little Ghanaian world champion, defending the WBC Super Featherweight Championship against London's Jim McDonnell, former European champion. And it's been a really gutsy performance indeed, and a clever tactical performance in many ways by McDonnell, but he has been on the deck, and that, of course, goes against him. Jim, 2 American judges if it went to 12 rounds. Some possibility of that now, isn't there? I would think, you know, they get impressed by aggression, and the fact that Nelson's walking forward the whole time, they would have him one in front.
Well, I think it all depends, and the first 4 rounds, when Nelson just come forward, but he didn't throw too many punches. But the trouble was, all of McDonnell's punches were landing on arms, shoulders and elbows. He didn't really get... he did a lot of good work, threw a lot of good punches, but wasn't getting home on target. So it depends were they scoring for McDonnell, throwing the punches, or for the defensive skills of the champion. But McDonnell has certainly kept it close and kept it interesting, simply because of the amount of work he's done himself. And here we have another round where Nelson hasn't got to McDonnell yet.
And McDonnell there, he keeps stealing the points. Nelson's trying to make up his mind. Oh, and he made up his mind there, but he just caught him a bit too high with that. That's the thing with McDonnell, you've got to admire him. He takes a good shot like that and then immediately fights back.
Yeah, well, he's never been stopped, never actually been on the floor, and he's taken some cracking shots tonight. A little bit loose now, McDonnell. I think that once again the pace is beginning to get to him.
Nelson almost stands on his toes there, just doesn't give him any leeway. Round 9. Now, just wondering now how these... Whoops. I'll wait for that punch to come before I continue that. Just wondering how these judges are looking at it. 1 from Switzerland, 2 from America. And how much they're scoring McDonnell, stealing those punches very cleverly too. Or are they taking into account that Nelson's punches are firmer, but not always as frequent?
It also depends that I've been impressed by Nelson's defensive skills. But this is the first time Nelson has really come out firing in the first minute of a round. Maybe he feels that he better get a grip of McDonnell and pin him down, because he's stealing a lot of points, keeping on the move. He's been allowed to box his own fight. Maybe Nelson feels it's time to try to change that. But still McDonnell coming back with plenty of fire.
Yelling from McDonnell's corner now, move, move. Well, he's certainly done that well. And at the moment, Jim, he's having a good round. Maybe he's risking it a bit by standing there trading.
Yeah, a little bit risky. His defence is a little bit open here. He's been warned, I think, for pulling Nelson on. But who can blame him? Anything for safety when they're up close.
Good round from McDonnell again.
Yep, again he stood his ground and he's firing back. Some of his punches have been smothered, but he's getting through with a fair amount.
Minute to go. McDonnell got to copy Nelson's tactics a little bit, but he's got to get his arms up and covering his chin a little bit. What a good round, though. He hasn't stopped throwing punches while Nelson trying to make up his mind. And there's the countdown. He's almost punching himself to a standstill there, Jim, isn't he?
He's got so much courage, Reg. Who would have believed it would be out-punching Nelson at his own game? Good punch from McDonnell.
What a turn-up it could be, but it's at the end of the round. And they're jumping in the corner there. Barry Hearns almost leapt over the top rope. A good ninth round indeed there for this fella, Jim McDonnell. And as a former European champion, there's the left hook, Jim, as you watch the replay.
Just with about 10 seconds left in the round, a lovely left hook, and McDonnell puts the champion under pressure, possibly for the first time in the fight, but who would have thought he could do it this late? See, he actually took the fight to the champion here, connected with a good left hook, pushed him back onto the ropes, and really, as I say, put the champion under pressure. And for every other round, the champion has been the man exerting the pressure.
So final words from Darky Smith. Do as you did in the 9th round, you'll be okay, and we're out for the 10th. And I have to say that at the Tyson and Bruno show, when Nelson defended against Mario Martinez, a very good fighter indeed, that he stopped him in the final round. So with this fellow, the potency doesn't leave the punches until that final bell.
But I think Nelson has been forced to work a lot harder in this one than he did in the Martinez fight. He's missed with a lot of punches. McDonnell's defence has been so good, and he really has forced the champion to work at a pace now.
He just sagged a bit there, didn't he? His open mouth, of course, to McDonnell. It's hard to tell. It just looked as though the legs betrayed him once or twice there, Jim.
Well, Nelson has so much power. Every time he connects cleanly, you have to expect to see an effect on McDonnell. You have to expect to see a shudder. But he just has so much courage. He's so fired up. He comes just forcing himself back again. But he can't afford to take too many of these punches.
He's certainly got the crowd on their feet, I tell you. And it's a bit expensive to get them here tonight. They've got a £200 ringside with the Dicky Bow people in their champagne. Right above us here in the commentary position, and the referee letting them fight inside. It's good to see McDonnell pinning Nelson against the rope and just standing back and letting a few punches go.
It's also good to see the way McDonnell is stopping Nelson from working here. He's leaning on him, keeping him off balance, throwing a couple of punches, and then just pinning down his arms.
That's a long spell, isn't it, in that corner?
Nelson should have got himself out of there a long time ago.
Oh, he almost fell into that one. I tell you what, Jim, I don't think Nelson can believe what's happening here. Well, any thoughts of him not being able to stay the course McDonnell has been dispelled. I mean, I know he's already stayed 12 rounds with Brian Mitchell, but this is a much harder fight than that. And he's really stayed like a Ledger winner. Well, a raising of the hands there, and McDonnell knew that he'd had the best of that round, didn't he?
Well, McDonnell pinned Nelson in the corner for so long in that round. It's the last place that Nelson wants to be. Nelson should be out in the centre of the ring where he can use his power, but McDonnell beat him to the punch, pushed him into the corner and held him there for at least a full minute, probably longer. Tactics were perfect in that round for McDonnell. His work rate has been so high throughout the fight. A little bit of arrogance here from McDonnell, but so pleased that he still feels arrogant this late in the fight. A tremendous show from McDonnell.
Certainly McDonnell's best fight by a mile. This. Nelson's punches now that are falling short. He's done it quite a bit during the fight, but it's getting more noticeable. Certainly the smartest fight that any challenger has given Nelson, isn't it?
Yeah, well, as you said earlier, McDonnell is a world-class fighter, and he certainly proved that tonight. He proved, as well as all his other attributes, plenty of courage and plenty of stamina. His left eye is closing badly. Sorry, his right eye is badly swollen. It's almost completely closed, Reg.
Yes.
I don't think you can see at all.
No, it's just as well there's only a round to go. He's in trouble with that. They'll get the ice packs out, or the iron thing, the iron ice well, as they call it, and try and smooth that. What a shame that is. It's really swollen up. Good look at it there too, the referee.
That's actually worse than a cut, Reg, because he has no sight whatsoever in that right eye.
No. The doctor take time out to the referee, to the timekeeper, and he's going over to his own corner, and Dr. Patel is the boxing board of control is going to have a look at this, and there'll be hell to play. He's whispering to the referee. Boxer. Well, of course, nobody wants to see it stop so late in the contest as this. On the other hand, it certainly is a large swelling he's got there. Sometimes the cornermen can work miracles in there, even in just in the 60-second break.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
I've never seen Azumah Nelson looking so ragged, and it's Jim McDonnell who's making him that way.
Yeah, it is. I'm sure of that. I've seen him half a dozen times at least, Nelson. He's never looked as untidy as this, and that's because he keeps shifting so well, McDonnell. He keeps jabbing at him.
So McDonnell's tactics have been perfect all the way through.
So there's Darky Smith now, former boxer, having to work furiously there on Jim McDonnell's right eye. Presumably able to punch, but who knows? There was quite a lot of head work going on in that closed quarter stuff.
the swelling seems to be in the soft tissue of the eye. It doesn't seem to be in the brow. It's really in the soft tissue. I don't think there's any way they're going to get that swelling down.
I like the way Barry Hearn is standing up there as a cheerleader, trying to get his supporters, Jimmy in the last round. I think Jim McDonnell can do it on his own. He doesn't need the support. He's a very strong-willed character. There you are. They've got it open a little bit, as I said. So the 12th and final round of this World Championship. And Jim, which way is it going to go?
Well, as I said earlier, I think it all depends on the early rounds. If the judges have scored it for McDonnell's work rate, because he threw a lot of punches in the first 3 or 4 rounds. Although Nelson was blocking most of them, showing good defensive skills. If the judges have given it to McDonnell because of his superior work rate, then he must be in front now. The only trouble is that Nelson's punches, when he has gone to work, really have been so much better than McDonnell. Just a slip, just a push over. And McDonnell's quite right to take as long as possible to get back up again.
He looked tired there, Jim, didn't he? But he takes a deep breath and pulls himself together. This will be tragic if it happens in the last round.
All McDonnell wants to do here is grab hold and survive. Never mind the heroics, he's shown enough of those tonight.
Yeah, like that. That's the way he's got to do it. See the timeout. Now, that was a slip on the canvas there. Oh, caught him with the right hand. At least he's raising his hand to try and block them. So tired as he gets a shove between the ropes there. I'm rather surprised he's given a count there, Jim. He's so fatigued, isn't he, Jim McDonnell?
He's got absolutely nothing left but his heart, Reg. Nothing at all, but is his heart big enough?
Well, it's all over in the 12th round. It's incredible that I mentioned early on that he stopped his last opponent in the last round. And I'll tell you, he did not deserve to be stopped. At least if he was going to be beaten on points, would have been much better. But he was totally fatigued. He just ran out of gas in that last round, and certainly that swelling of the eye, well, obviously didn't help at all, Jim.
Reg, even in the 11th round, McDonnell had nothing left but his heart. He was completely fatigued. The tremendous pressure was under all the way through. He was forced to work hard, and he just had nothing left but his heart. And just seconds away, his heart came pretty close to winning him a world title. So he's nothing at all left here. His eyes, you couldn't see at all out of the right eye. And Nelson started for the first time really to get a grip on him and take control. But what a tremendous performance from Jim McDonnell. He is the hero tonight.
Yeah, there it is again. It certainly wasn't. Nelson was so frustrated halfway through. Once he got the man on the hook, then he proves that he's a world champion. And good compassionate act by the referee there to stop it actually while he's on the deck. He didn't even count. Jim?
See, there again is the left hook coming through. McDonnell can't see that the punch coming. Nothing at all left. Although I do believe if the referee hadn't stepped in, McDonnell was on his way back up again.
So the usual carnival in the ring, and the Ghanaian supporters there. And they're putting the WBC belt around him, as always, and Don Kenny, the American promoter, well to the fore, need I say, because he actually promotes most of Azumah Nelson's fights.
I think they're just keeping McDonnell on the floor as a precaution. I don't think there's anything seriously wrong with him. I just think it's obviously exhaustion.
Azumah, that must have been one of the hardest fights you've been in. A very brave challenger.
Yeah, Jim McDonnell already prepared for the fight.
But you could well have been behind on points going into that last round.
I know he's going all the rounds, you know, but I know he can finish. You know.
Did he surprise you with his courage as well as his skill?
Yeah, because I don't know he can go like that, you know. And his trainer did well because he trained him He trained very good hard, you know. He crashed, you know, he holding me, you know, not to...
You underestimated him, really, didn't you?
Pardon?
You underestimated him.
Oh, yeah.
But you're still champion. Good going, come away, come away!
So anyway, I'm pleased to say that Jim McDonnell's recovered there, got a big hand, and led back to the corner. And as Jim Watt quite rightly says, he will go out the hero, even though he was a loser. Well, that's a whole crowd of people, isn't it, in Jim McDonnell's corner, and all applauding him. But what he could do with right now is a bit of air and get away from all that, because he really is so tired.
Well, a magnificent performance, really, by Jimmy McDonnell. I think when Azumah Nelson looks back on his visit here in Britain, he'll say that the fellow from Camden Town gave him one of the toughest fights of his career. What a great champion, though.